Have you ever wondered why your retirement prospects might look so different from someone living in, say, France or Italy? Well, it's not just about different numbers. It's actually about a deep historical split in how we even think about what retirement is supposed to be.
So let's start with a single, pretty stark number: 22%. In the UK, the state pension provides just 22% of the average person's income from before they retired. That is one of the lowest rates in the entire developed world.
So why? Why is that gap so huge? Well, to understand that, we've got to go back in time. This whole thing comes down to two totally rival ideas about what a pension should even do. Two philosophies, championed by two very different men, that ended up shaping retirement for an entire continent.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with those two historical architects of Europe's pension systems. Then we'll see how their models actually work in the real world and compare what that means for retirees. And finally, we'll look at the demographic crisis that's threatening to upend the whole thing.
You know, the entire European pension landscape is really built on this fundamental tension between two models, and each one has a completely different goal. This is the core of the whole story.
First up, you've got the Bismarckian model, which was pioneered in Germany. Its purpose wasn't just to keep you out of poverty, it was designed to actually maintain your standard of living after you stop working. Think of it as status insurance for your golden years.
And then there's the alternative, the Beveridgean system, born right in the UK. Here, the state's job is just to provide a basic safety net to stop people from falling into total poverty. Anything beyond that? Well, that's on you and your private savings.
And this slide just boils it down perfectly, right? On one side, you have a system that's designed to keep your income level relative to what you earned. On the other, you've got a flat, universal foundation for everybody. It really is the difference between status insurance and a societal safety net.
So let's dig into that first philosophy, the Bismarckian model. You're going to find this all over continental Europe. Think France, Italy, Spain, and of course Germany.
The critical thing to understand here is that it works just like insurance. You pay in based on your salary your whole working life, and in return, you get a pension that's directly tied to those earnings. Simple, right? The more you earned and paid in, the more you get out.
Okay, now let's hop across the channel to the Beveridgean model. This is the system you'll recognize in the UK, Ireland, and the Netherlands. Here, the whole system is designed to provide a universal basic floor. It's paid for through general taxes and gives everyone pretty much the same base amount, as long as they've made enough contributions. The big expectation is that you'll then build on top of it with your own workplace and private pensions.
All right, so we have two different philosophies, two different ways of doing things. But what does this actually mean for the amount of money retirees end up with in their pockets?
Well, the results are pretty striking. This chart shows what's called the replacement rate. That's basically the percentage of your old salary your pension replaces. Now look at the mandatory pensions. Countries like Portugal and Denmark are way up there. The UK, though, starts much lower. It really only starts to catch up when you add in all those voluntary private savings.
Let's just take Italy for a second, a classic Bismarckian system. There, the state pension is worth, on average, a massive 76% of a person's pre-retirement income. That's more than 3 times the rate of what the UK's state pension provides on its own.
And the gap in actual cash is just as stark. I mean, look at this. When you check out the actual value of state pensions, you see retirees in places like Iceland and Luxembourg getting more than double what a UK pensioner gets from the state.
This quote from Mariana Hunt at Fidelity International just captures that philosophical divide perfectly. It's not about one system being better than the other. It's about where the responsibility lies. In the UK, the state pension is a foundation. In France and Italy, it's the mainstay.
But here's the twist. Despite all their historical and philosophical differences, both of these systems are now staring down the barrel of the exact same massive problem.
You see, when these pay-as-you-go systems were designed back in the 20th century, demographics were on their side. You had plenty of workers paying taxes and contributions for every one person drawing a pension. The math just worked.
But that math is completely breaking down. Because we're having fewer babies and we're all living much longer, that population pyramid has basically flipped upside down. By 2050, there will be only about 2 workers for every retiree. And that puts this immense, maybe even unsustainable pressure on both models.
So how are countries even responding to this crisis? And what does the future of retirement look like under this kind of unprecedented strain?
Right across Europe, we are seeing a massive shift. The old world was defined benefit.
That meant a guaranteed, predictable pension for life, where your employer or the state took all the risk. The future, though, is defined contribution. And that means your retirement income depends on how much you save and how your investments do. All the risk? It now sits squarely with you.
To try and make these strained systems work, experts are proposing a whole slate of reforms. This means things like linking pensions to how long we're expected to live, calculating benefits over a full career to make it fairer, and asking higher earners to pay more in. It's really all about making these systems sustainable for the long haul.
So, the crucial takeaway here is this: that old historical divide is closing. Whether you live in a Bismarck country or a Beveridge country, the future of your retirement is increasingly, and maybe even entirely, in your own hands.
And this leaves all of us with a critical, maybe uncomfortable question for the next generation of retirees all across Europe. As the promise of a guaranteed pension fades and the state is forced to pull back, it's no longer a question of if we bear the risk, but simply how we're going to manage it.